So this last Sunday was Palm Sunday. And as I was kind of contemplating Palm Sunday, the Lord began to speak to me. Because as we know, on Palm Sunday, when Jesus came into the town, they welcomed him in as a king. They put down their jackets, their coats, and even palm branches. And that was just like the equivalent of putting out the red carpet for Jesus. They're welcoming him in as a king. But then, as we see the week advance, on Thursday and Friday, they were yelling, "Crucify, crucify." So what happened between Sunday, when they were welcoming him in as a king, to Friday, where they wanted his life? Well, what I believe it was, and what some historical and biblical evidence shows us, is that it was actually their expectations that caused them to do that. They expected the Messiah to come and establish an earthly kingdom, to basically be like a warlord who would take over the government by force and break them out of the bondage to the Romans that they had hated being in. So they had these expectations of Jesus that didn't line up with who he was or what he wanted to do. It didn't line up with his kingdom and how he wanted his kingdom to advance. And that really got me thinking, how often do we have expectations of the Savior that just don't line up with who he is? And even more than that, how often do we have expectations of him, of what his expectations are of us, that don't line up? See, it's easy to love a pushover puppy dog Jesus that doesn't require anything from you. But what about a father that disciplines his children? What about a gospel that promises suffering? What about a Jesus who tells you to take up your cross and follow him? What about a Savior who calls you to go places you don't want to go, to do things you don't want to do? That Savior is one that usually we don't want. Our expectation of him is that he'll require nothing from us but give us everything. We want him to be like our magic genie. But in reality, those expectations don't line up with who he is. Those expectations don't line up with what he's called us to. So I'd encourage you just to examine your expectations, just to think through, what have I believed about God? What have I believed that he wants from me? And do they line up with the scriptures? Do they line up with what he's actually calling me to? Have I been living my life as if I expect him to conform to what I want, rather than me conforming to his will? Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you are blessed by this. Please follow us on Facebook to keep up with us at facebook.com/heisrevival. There we've got all sorts of videos and explanation of who we are and what we do. You can also check us out on our webpage at heisrevival.com. Remember that we're still booking up our River of Joy tour. So if you live along the Mississippi River, if you have a church along the Mississippi River, we would love to partner with you during that time. So please contact us. We would love to be able to meet you, hang out with you, and maybe bless your church in some way. Thank you so much. God bless.